Hello everyone. Thank you for joining us today and welcome to our webinar. My name is Ben May and I'm Marketing Manager here at CAF. So the topic for today's webinar was suggested by users of our donation platform, CAF Donate. We asked them what information would help with their fundraising campaigns, and they told us that an introduction to Instagram would be a great topic. And it seems to be a good topic as well, because we've had over 500 registrations for today's session, which is great. So thanks everyone for joining us. My colleague Hannah Iqbal will be presenting today, and I'll let her introduce herself in a minute. Hannah will speak for about 20 minutes and she'll be covering why your charity should be on Instagram, what content is good to share on the platform, examples of charities that are doing great things, and some of the key Instagram metrics you need to measure. Once Hannah's finished, we'll spend the remaining time answering your questions, so please start sending them in now. You'll find the submit a question box in the control panel on the right of your screen. We are recording the webinar today and we will send you a recording of it next week, okay, via email. So that's everything from me for now. So Hannah, over to you.
Hello everyone and happy International Women's Day. Thanks for joining us. So just a little bit about myself. I've been at CAF for almost 2 years now and I've really enjoyed working within the charity sector. I currently manage all of CAF's social media, including the Giving Tuesday accounts. You may have heard of the Global Charity Campaign. This year it falls on the 3rd of December. So it would be great if you could all join in. Before I came to CAF, I was at the City of London Police for almost 8 years. I was a press officer and then the digital and social media officer. Alongside this, I was also a volunteer police officer. So I had best of both worlds. Right, so that's enough of me. It's time to get into the good stuff. Before we start, I would just like to see how many of you are already using Instagram for your charity. Please select yes or no and we'll have a look at the results. Okay, I think some of you are still doing the poll. And let's see what the results are. Okay, so 73% of you are already using Instagram for your charity, which is great. And 26% of you are currently not. That's okay, that's why you're here today. Just another poll, just to compare to see how many of you use the platform for personal use. Again, select yes or no. Just waiting for some of you to submit your answers. And their results, 74% of you are, similar to the one from the previous poll, and 26% of you are not. So basically, using Instagram for personal use is very different to how you would use it for your charity. But it's important to have a personal account, just so you can test out its features and see how an individual might engage on the platform. So before you start using any new channel or platform, think about your charity's objectives or business goals and who you want to reach. Decide on how Instagram will help you meet your objectives and what part of the journey the platform will take your audience on. It's always best to create a one-pager outlining your strategy for Instagram, and if you can, add a timeline of events, which may include your bigger campaigns and how Instagram will increase your reach. This will save you time and help you see if the platform is actually working for you. So why Instagram? Well, it's the second most engaged network after Facebook. It has 1 billion monthly active users, 25 million business profiles, users like up to 4.2 billion posts per day. There are 95 million posts per day, and 500 million stories are posted each day. It is really a chance for you to tell your story and reach donors, volunteers, and advocates. These are great reasons as to why your charity should be on Instagram, but also what you're up against. So again, why Instagram? And so basically, another reason is that Instagram is great for engagement. It's the place you really want to be, especially as a charity. It's 10 times higher than Facebook, 54 times higher than Pinterest, and an amazing 84 times higher than Twitter. Another thing to think about is making the online donation journey easy as possible on mobile. Over a third of Instagram users have used their mobile to purchase a product online, making them 70% more likely to do so than non-users. Our donation platform, CAF Donate, is free to sign up to service, which allows charities to create and add as many donation pages as you like to your charity's website, which are mobile responsive. If you'd like to know more about CAF Donate, be sure to complete our mini survey at the end of the webinar. So, just some demographics here. The biggest demographic group are males between 18 and 24 years old, while over 60% of all users are aged between 18 and 24. 90% of Instagram users are younger than 35. So something to bear in mind when you start using Instagram. Moving on to your profile. So before you start making your profile, first make sure that you always have the latest app. Instagram is always updating the app with new features and will prioritize these features when you start using them. Set up your business account. This will link to your Facebook page and allows you to access additional insights. Make sure you use an on-brand Instagram profile picture as seen here. Like your profile photo, your biography, which is the description at the top of your profile, is one of the first things your visitors will see. You have a maximum of 150 characters. Use them to let people know what you're about and give them a reason to follow you. Include who you are and what you do. And be sure to add a hint of personality. Keep it simple and you can always use emojis. You can add an address and contact number too. Make sure you include a link to your website. I'll touch on this in more detail a little bit later on. The highlights section allows you to add your stories after they've been up for 24 hours. This is great for campaigns and good news stories, and a chance for those who missed your story. Once you've set up your profile, I would recommend telling other people about it on your other social media channels. You can also send out an email, and you can add a button to your website. Ask people in your charity to start following, and this will help boost your followers. Here is a great example from the Dogs Trust. It tells their followers exactly what they'll expect from the account. Also, don't forget to enable notifications so you can see when people have followed you, liked, or commented on your posts. This will help you respond more quickly, which is very important if you want to build a relationship with your followers. In this example, from Centerpoint, you can clearly notice their brand and what their mission is straight away by simply scrolling through their profile. They have incorporated the color orange in the majority of their pictures and videos. This is worth keeping in mind for when you start using Instagram. People will know straight away of who you are just by taking a quick glimpse. Moving on to image posts. We've all got a story to tell, and there are so many ways to express them. Through imagery and video, we can do this, and it's very, very effective. You can add volunteering stories, share impact stories, share donor stories, case studies, go behind the scenes, and so on. The beauty with Instagram posts is that you can use various sized images which won't get cropped in the feed unless you want them to. Remember to post daily in order to build your followers and keep your followers engaged. This will increase your visibility in the search feed. A lot of experts say that you should use high quality photos on Instagram, but sometimes it's difficult if you don't have a top of the range mobile phone or DSLR camera. As long as it's not blurry and people can see exactly what it is, and there's a great story behind it, then I would definitely go ahead and post it. It's all about being in the moment and sharing this with your audience. If you want to use filters on your images, I would advise to always use the exact same one to keep your feed looking consistent. And it also gives it a nice unique feel. You may have come across the carousel feature, which is when you post on Instagram. There are clever ways to use the carousel feature to tell your story. Here's an example from breast cancer care. Sometimes it's difficult to tell a story using one picture, but this feature allows you to add more than one picture or video clip. You can be creative as you like. Some people use this feature to reveal an answer to a question or before and after shots. Just ask people to swipe. Instagram gives you a lot of space in your captions, as you can see here. And its tap to expand format makes longer captions super easy to access without leaving your feed. Another benefit to Instagram. Here's an example from a non-profit in America, the American Civil Liberties Union. It's using the carousel feature to promote a full article instead of asking people to click on a link in their bio. This may not always be the best option, but it's worth trying, and you can measure how people engage, and especially if you're not too concerned about getting people to your website. But always add a call to action in your caption. You can even use this feature to show an impact report, a case study. It's just another visual way of doing it, almost like a Kindle. So just a little fun fact here, a couple of fun facts. Pizza is the most popular Instagram food, with sushi and chicken taking second and third respectively. Although in the UK, it's actually my favourite. It's curry. So you can just see the type of content that people love to see. I'm not suggesting you post lots of pictures of food, but it just gives you an idea. Moving on to video posts. So you may have noticed that videos use has increased year on year. In fact, it's increased by 80%. In the feed on Instagram, you can only upload a 60-second video, and it has to be at least 3 seconds long. Otherwise, you won't be able to upload it. However, just recently, Instagram now allows you to add longer videos to the feed via Instagram TV. I still have to test this out myself, in fact. Instagram are really trying to get more people to use Instagram TV. So if you do, they're more likely to prioritize these posts over any other features. So I would definitely start using this straight away. But remember, Instagram TV is vertical, so keep this in mind. If you have any questions about video, I'm happy to answer at the end. But I'm going to move on now to stories, which at present is very important in the world of social media. It's all the hype at the moment. So why stories? Well, it's all about the moment, in the moment experience. And Instagram stories use continues to grow, with it just falling behind WhatsApp. People are now more likely to go straight to a brand story rather than scrolling through their feed. So you need to make sure you upload stories daily if you want to feature before any other brands at the top of the feed. So what can you do with Instagram stories? Well, first of all, you can get 2 for 1, as you can also link to your Facebook stories all within the Instagram app. You can tag partners and use hashtags to support your campaigns, or a campaign that's trending, like today. The International Women's Day hashtag is trending. You can share other people's stories who've tagged you in theirs. You can also share posts within your story. There are so many different features to play with. Stories are great for events and behind the scenes pictures and videos. Your stories are also discoverable, sorry about that, which means that people who don't follow you can see your posts too. You can also include your podcast. I'm not sure if many of you knew that, but you can include your podcast by sharing it from SoundCloud. So if you do have a podcast, this is definitely worth doing. You can also do a poll and even include a countdown. Also, Instagram takeovers are all of the rage right now. So if you have any volunteers or employees that you want to sort of go behind the scenes with, let them take over Instagram stories for the day. Instagram has also recently announced that they'll be introducing a donate button within the stories with no processing fee for donations, and the full amount will go to the charity. It's just another reason why your charity should be on Instagram. So there are so many different types of videos you can use within the stories feature to help you jazz up your content. You've got boomerangs, you've got different type of video effects, you can play videos in reverse, you can record video, you can do live videos. You can even add emojis to your videos, including GIFs. You can do text-based stories if you don't have any images, and you can ask questions, which is really engaging. There is so much that you can do within the stories feature. Here's an example I came across from the Wood Green Animal Charity. For Love Your Pet Day, they used the Ask Me a Question feature, and as a result, lots of people responded with their adoption stories. This allowed the charity to engage back and to say thank you. I would highly recommend giving this a go once you have enough followers. It can also be anonymous for the audience, so it's a great way to have a one-to-one kind of conversation. Get some friends or employees to get the ball rolling. It's a great way to start a conversation. So moving on to hashtags briefly. Make sure, so basically on the Instagram app, you can follow relevant hashtags so that you can track and engage with content. So they will appear on your timelines so that you can engage with, especially any campaign hashtags that you've actually created. This allows you to see what others have posted but may have forgotten to tag you in them. So as you can see here, this is what it will look like on your feed if you do follow a hashtag. And then you can go in there and then you can see what posts have used that specific hashtag. For example, here, Charity Tuesday, which is a popular hashtag. You can also be recommended to other users on Instagram. This will increase your brand awareness and be seen by those who don't know about you. So the more that you engage with other people's posts, your profile will be recommended to other users who have not heard or seen you before. Birmingham Dogs Home posts lots of lovely pictures and videos of rescue dogs. In this post, they've asked a question about the dog's breed to try and get people to engage. They received 21 comments, which is great. Use what you have and create something engaging out of it. This will get people to start commenting on your posts and increase again your profile. Just use what you have and use great stories, which I know you've all got. So the more comments you actually get, the more likely your post will appear in your followers' timeline and search feed. This will help reach more people. In the search feed, with that little icon there, so those who do not follow you will see your post and may choose to visit your profile and follow you. So basically, engagement equals more eyeballs in the search feed. So when should you post? Well, I'm guessing everyone is thinking about this. So think about who you want to reach and when are they most likely to pick up their phones. It's usually on the commute to and from work and lunch times. Also, think about when they're at home in the evening and weekends. More people are now using their phones whilst watching TV or hanging out. Tailor your content to the times of day and who your donors are most likely to be. You can also use insights to help you see when your followers are most engaged, which moves us on nicely to, so what should you actually measure? There are many metrics that you can measure on Instagram, but you can only do this if you have a business account set up. You can measure reach, impressions, how many people visited your profile, how many comments you received, how many likes you got on each post, and so on. You can see this all within the app in the Insights section. It also includes age range, location, gender, actions taken during time of day, and how your content has actually performed. And most importantly, when your followers are most active on the channel. You can also filter it by metric and how far back you want to go. Keep a record or take screenshots, and every month you can see what works and what doesn't. So it's vital that you do look at these stats and keep a track of them, just to see how people are engaging with your content. As you can just see here now on your screen, there's so much detail that you can actually go into. So moving on to the free stuff, and I would definitely recommend you guys using these free tools. First of all, your mobile phone is everything when it comes to Instagram. It is the most important tool. So make sure your phone has got a good camera and is always charged and has enough memory. Inbuilt mobile editing tools are also great, where you can crop images, add filters, and just make your pictures stand out a little bit more. Buffer is a company which allows you to schedule your posts on Instagram, and it now includes video posts, but unfortunately there's nothing out there which allows you to schedule your stories. But I would definitely use Buffer because it's free and it's actually really easy to use. Canva is a great graphic design tool which you can use on both desktop and your mobile phone. It's free to use and you can use a variety of templates to help your posts stand out. So definitely worth downloading, and you can also add your brand colors and fonts to the actual app. Linktree, I'm not sure if you've heard of this, but on Instagram, you're only allowed to add one link in your biography. And you're only allowed to add a link to your stories once you've hit 10,000 followers. So this is another way of getting to use more links. Linktree allows you to house several links which you can link to your website. This is how it will look, and you can choose what links you want and move them up and down. So it's definitely worth signing up to Linktree. It's totally free, and you can add one link to your biography, and then people will then get to see a set of other links that are relevant to your charity and so on. So I apologize if I was going too fast. I just get carried away. But before we finish and move on to your questions, here are some handy tips, and I would definitely recommend doing this every time that you post on the feed or using Instagram stories. Posts that include another handle gain 56% more engagement. Posts with at least one hashtag gain over 12% more engagement. Posts with a location receive 79% more engagement. And that actually helps others who don't follow you see your content. And surprisingly, photos see more engagement than videos on Instagram. So don't get too worked up if you don't have many videos. Just snap away and share those great stories that you all have. So that's the end of the webinar that I've given. And I'm now moving on to answer some of your great questions.
Great, thank you, Hannah. That was a really interesting introduction to Instagram. I found it useful. I'm new to using Instagram, so there's lots of top tips there for me. And I hope everyone listening, I hope you guys all found it useful as well. So we've had a number of questions come in. I'm going to start with one from Neil, I think. So Neil asks, how do I decide what content to put on Facebook and what content to put on Instagram?
Thanks, Neil. I would suggest is just so there are using your insights. This can basically tell you which channels and how the audience engages with your content. So I would probably start off and post the same thing both on Facebook and Instagram, and then you'll soon find out how people are actually engaging with your content. Keep a record of how many comments you get on each post, and then comparing both content on Facebook and Instagram. But because Facebook and Instagram is linked, it's easy to share on both. But I would definitely just trying out different things, and just trying different things and sharing things on both and see how people react to them.
So that kind of like test and learn approach there.
Yeah, it was all about testing and learning.
Yeah. Cool. So we've got another question here that's coming from Zoe. Zoe asks, how much does a business account cost?
So to set up a business account, it's totally free. You can do it all via the app, but you have to have a company page on Facebook before you can actually do that. So yeah, it's totally free to set up a business account.
Cool. Yeah, free. So guys, get using it. Stephen asks, how many times a day should I post on Instagram?
Oh, yeah, very good question. I would say at least minimum once a day. If you've got great content and it's relevant to that day, then go ahead and post it.
Yeah.
There's nothing to stop you to post more than once a day. I would say with an Instagram story, I would try not to go over 7 stories each day because a lot of people fall off and they don't ever watch it to the end. So no more than 7.
Yeah, and keep in mind, I guess, what you said earlier about times people are on their phone.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's all about when are your followers most likely to be on your phone, but you can use the insights to help you.
Yeah, the insights will help you find that stuff out. Okay, cool. So there's a question here from Carl, I think it is. This is about the donate buttons, but I know that that's a new feature, so I don't know if we've got any answers to that. But he asks, is there a restriction on getting the donate button?
It hasn't gone live
Yeah, it
yet in
hasn't
the
gone
UK,
live. Yeah.
so no one's been able to test it out. So I'm afraid we won't be able to answer that.
Yeah, we can't answer that, but I guess there's loads of stuff online about it.
Yeah, I think because Facebook owns Instagram, it's going to be very similar to how Facebook uses a donate button. So I think it's all going to be generated and have the same sort of process.
Cool. We've got a question here from Dawn, which is about promoting posts on Instagram and how to do that.
Yep. So if you want to sort of boost a post and put some money behind it, you can do this all within the app. But you have to obviously upload a bank card. However, you can't really target really. I wouldn't suggest boosting posts straight from the app. What I would suggest is probably doing it via Facebook Manager. But this is a whole new session when it comes to paid ads on social media. But I would recommend having a look at Facebook Blueprint courses. It's totally free and it will tell you step by step how you can set up paid ads on both Facebook and Instagram. So definitely check that out.
Great. So we've got a question. This charity is new to Instagram. What do you recommend as the first post that they post? What kind of thing should they post?
Well, I think you should just announce that, hey, we're here on Instagram. This is what our charity does. And just the whole point is just to tell people that you're on Instagram. Get your staff to sign up and follow. Put it up on your website. Do a little news story. Share it on your other social media channels.
Make sure you use all the hashtags.
Make sure you use all the hashtags.
Yeah.
And yeah, just tell people about it and have fun with it. And just use it every day if you can.
Cool. So we've got a question from Amy here about numbers of followers. She's asking, how many followers would you say is a good target before you start using the question feature or live streaming on Insta stories?
That's a good question, because if you don't have enough followers, you're not going to get many questions. That's a bit of a difficult one, because it all depends on how many people actually start commenting on your posts. If you receive a lot of comments, then it means that your followers are already engaged. So just have a look and see if they are an engaging audience. I mean, you can try at 500 followers and then just see how it goes. If you don't try it, you won't know. So
try. Cool. Question has come in from Doreen. Doreen asks, should you always follow people who follow you?
That is a good question. I think if you kind of have a partnership with them or you've worked with them, then why not follow them back? But I think it just depends. You can't follow everyone that follows you. I think you just have to make up your own mind if you actually want to see their content on your feed.
Yeah.
So if you want to see their content and engage more with them, then yeah, go ahead and follow them. But it's down to the individual, I would say.
Cool. Okay, great. So another question about sponsored posts. How much more engagement do you get through sponsored posts versus organic posts?
So you would get more, and you're more likely to obtain more followers as well if you do sponsored ads. I mean, Instagram do push for that, and they want you to spend money, and they want you to boost your posts. So yeah, you will actually get more engagement, and you will see your followers increase if you do target people who don't know about you. Um, so that's why you would use ads anyway, to target people who haven't heard of you before.
Yeah, yeah. So just flicking through the questions now. We've got one here that's coming from Jenny. So this is a question about how to engage, or have you got any tips on engaging influencers?
Influencers. I mean, the first thing you can do is actually reach out to them. You can do it via Instagram if they allow private messages. You can add comments to their posts. But that's again, there's a whole another influencer strategy. But just ask. Ask. If you don't ask, you don't get.
Yeah.
And start liking their posts as well and commenting on their posts, because the more that they see you, they might engage back with you, and then you've opened that dialogue with them.
Yeah, and I guess it's important to think about ambassadors that you've already got for your own charity, and trustees, I suppose, who might be on the platform. Get in touch with them, make sure they're sharing your stories and engaging as well.
Yeah, give them a voice and let them take over. Like I mentioned before, Instagram takeovers are really great, and because you get different perspectives of other people, and it's fresh and it's new. So, yeah.
Cool. So, a bit more of a technical question that's come in about any other tools that you can use to schedule Instagram posts.
Yes, you can use Hootsuite. I think that there might be a cost to that, but I know they give a discount to charities, so that's good. Not only that, you can also schedule on other channels as well using Hootsuite and Buffer as well, and you can also kind of monitor what's going on Instagram, and actually you can use it as direct messages as well. So definitely, I'll try Buffer and Hootsuite.
Buffer and
Hootsuite. Schedule,
Hootsuite.
yeah.
Cool. Buffer and Hootsuite. Great, thanks. So we've got another one coming here from Bethany. How many emojis should you use in a post?
Hold on. That's a difficult one. I guess it all depends on what you're saying. For example, if you're promoting an event, you can use several emojis to just kind of break down your content. So you might have an emoji of a calendar, emoji of a clock, so it's the time. So I think you can use as many as you want, really, if you're kind of trying to break information down.
Yep.
So you can use like bullet point emojis and so on, so that it looks nice and clear on the eye. So there's no real limit, I would say, when using emojis.
Okay, cool. There's loads of questions coming in. So we've got one about hashtags now. So how do you know what hashtags are trending on Instagram?
So Instagram, it doesn't have a monitor where it tells you like Twitter with what's trending at the moment.
Yep.
But essentially, what is trending on Twitter is most likely to be trending on Instagram as well. So I would probably use the similar hashtags that are used on Twitter on Instagram.
Okay, cool. So this is again another technical question. Where do you find insights in Instagram?
Okay, so I'm just going to open the app on my phone. So I'm just having a look now on my phone to see how I. So you would go on your profile, and then on your right hand side, you would see 3 dashes. You would press that, and then another kind of window opens, and in there you will see 3 bar charts, and it says insights. You would click that, and then you will see all your insights. I'm not sure if that's helped anyone. It's very difficult to show you without you seeing my phone at the moment.
But we can maybe put some information in the
I
email
can
that we send
I
around
can put
afterwards.
information
Yeah.
and maybe do using pictures to show you with arrows and so on. So
Yeah.
you can see all of that.
Yeah, one thing to mention actually is all these questions that are coming in, we are going to do like a summary of them and we'll answer them in an email next week as well. So you've got that information to hand.
Any more questions?
Any more coming in? We've got another one here that says, does commenting on other people's posts help?
Yes, it does help. First of all, they will see your comment. Then they might want to click on your profile and then they will read your biography and then they might be interested in following you and then become an ambassador or so on.
Cool.
So yeah, definitely. The more you comment, the more you will also feature in the search feed as well.
Great. Yeah, okay. That seems to be most of the questions answered that we've had today. So thank you for all those questions. Thanks for sending them in. As I said, we'll have a look at them. We'll write a little summary and we'll send that around with the email that goes out next week. We will be sending you the email next week, as I mentioned, with the recording of the webinar as well, so you can catch up and watch this again and share it with colleagues in your organisation. So when we stop this webinar, a short survey will pop up. We'd really appreciate it if you could give us your feedback on the session and any ideas for future topics you might like us to cover. So finally, thank you again, Hannah, for your presentation and for answering all those questions. Thank you to all of you for joining us today, and I hope you all have a great weekend. Bye.